Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. The EPA is taking a first step in rewriting the Waters of the U.S. rule, which has only been in place for a year. Now it's moving forward with a plan we first told you about back in August to reestablish the pre-2015 definition of WOTUS, which had been in place for decades. The rule will include updates that are consistent with Supreme Court decisions since that time. The agency says the proposed rule would maintain the long-standing exclusions of the pre-2015 regulations, as well as the exemptions and exclusions in the Clean Water Act for agriculture. The rule would be in place while the EPA arrives at its own rule. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says this is not a total redraft of the previous rule.
Well, I think it also takes into consideration the court decision, which makes it a little bit different than either the Trump rule or the Obama rule. And obviously, folks are going to have the opportunity to weigh in on this. Our challenge and our job will be to work with producers as they take a look at what they may have to do or not have to do based on compliance and figure out ways in which we can use the tools at USDA to make it easier for them to comply.
Now, several farm groups not happy with the announcement. The American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall calling it an overly complicated interim water rule, saying, quote, "It's troubling that EPA is putting a framework in place before completing the promised stakeholder engagement. Administrator Regan pledged to listen to the needs of farmers and ranchers and committed to a rule that is not overly burdensome. We urge him to stay true to his word," end quote. Now, from the National Corn Growers Association, quote, "We are extremely disappointed that this administration is taking us backward by removing a rule that has provided certainty for farmers who are working to feed and power America," end quote. And from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, quote, "Today's repeal of the Navigable Waters Protection Rule unfortunately perpetuates the regulatory uncertainty that cattle producers have experienced for years, and NCBA looks forward to holding the EPA accountable for creating a limited, fair WOTUS definition," end quote. Now, EPA says it will next host virtual public hearings about the proposed rule. For more information, check out epa.gov/WOTUS.